Chapter 23. Chance. Christmas Day dawned cool and crisp. Chance had never had the time to decorate his house for Christmas, but after hearing about his daring rescue and resulting hospital stay, his mother had taken it upon herself to decorate for him. Thankfully, she had done it tastefully. The atmosphere was warm and inviting without being tacky. Chance smiled at the scene in his living room. Lucas had opened his stocking and was now playing with a few of his new toys on the floor near the tree. Chance did not miss the longing glances the boy shot at the presents still beneath the tree. His mother sat on the couch next to his father, something Chance had never thought he would see again. Though he hadn't been sure about having his father share Christmas with them, the recent scare with Lucas had driven home how precious life was and how it could be changed in an instant. After discussing the idea with his mother, who agreed, Chance had extended the invitation. He was still working on forgiving his father, but this felt like a step in the right direction. Thankfully, Butch was managing the hotel today, because the thought of the three of them together still felt uncomfortable. "Who wants more coffee?" he asked as he pushed himself out of his chair. "Oh, no, you don't," Merribeth said, taking his mug and pushing him back into the chair. "The doctor said to stay off your leg as much as possible until tomorrow, and I know you've been walking around when I'm not here." She had him there, but it was hard to do things he needed to get done without walking on his leg. As it was, Merribeth had stepped in for him at the resort for the last few days. The doctor had said he could return after Christmas, but only if he continued to take it easy. "Fine, thank you." He had just lowered himself back into the chair when a knock at the door sounded. "I've got it," he hollered, pushing himself up and toward the door before Merribeth could stop him. Chance had no idea who could be at the door, as everyone he'd invited was in his living room, but he was glad for the opportunity to move. Surprise filled him when he opened the door to see Austin. "Hey, Chance. Sorry to disturb you on Christmas Day, but I've got some information for Merribeth, and I was told she was here." "She is. Come on in." Merribeth re-entered the room just as Austin stepped inside. "Austin, Merry Christmas. I'm assuming you're here because you have some news?" She handed the mug to Chance so she could focus fully on Austin. Chance knew Merribeth had been waiting to hear from Austin about the identity of Lucas's kidnapper. He also knew she wouldn't rest easy until she understood why the man had done what he had. He nodded, but glanced toward Lucas. "I do, but do you want me to tell you here?" His mother, picking up on the innuendo, stepped in. "Lucas, how about you come make hot chocolate with me in the kitchen? Then we can open presents." "Okay." Lucas set down his toy and followed Chance's mother to the kitchen. "I'll go too," his father said, as if realizing this conversation didn't involve him either. "Did you find out who he was?" Merribeth asked. Austin nodded. "It took a few days. He wasn't in a talking mood when we first took him in. His name is Dirk Caldwell, which I'm sure means nothing to you." Merribeth shook her head and folded her arms across her chest. "No, I've never heard that name. So why Lucas?" "Turns out Dirk ran into Colin at a bar one night. After a few rounds, Colin spilled about the divorce and the son he never asked for. It turns out Dirk contracts for some child traffickers. When he realized your son might be easy prey, he got Colin to open up about your whereabouts and then stole his keys. He admitted to being in your house and following you. The good news is that he's going away for a while. And the even better news is that he gave us the names of the traffickers. I know that might not be much consolation, but this probably saved several other children." "Praise God for that," Merribeth said. "Thank you, Austin, for staying on this and for stopping by to give me the information. Did Dirk say anything else about Colin? Anything about him regretting leaving his son?" Sadness filled Austin's eyes as he shook his head.
No, I'm sorry. But for what it's worth, I think you and Lucas are better off without him.
Merribeth nodded, but Chance could tell there was more going on inside her head. Thank you, Austin.
Are you okay? Chance asked when the door closed behind Austin.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm glad to know why Dirk did what he did. I'm sad there are people out in the world like that, but I'm also sad for Lucas. How will I ever tell him that his father wanted nothing to do with him? This wasn't the moment Chance had planned, but it felt like the right moment in his bones. He grabbed Merribeth's hands.
Colin was a father in name only. He's never been there for Lucas, and Lucas doesn't need to know why. What he needs is a man who does love him and who wants to be in his life and be an example for him. I want to be that man.
Chance dropped one of her hands to reach inside his pocket. He pulled out the black velvet box that he'd kept in a drawer of his nightstand for the last 8 years. It wasn't the ring she deserved, and he had no idea if it would still fit, but it felt right to propose with it, as he'd once bought it for that very purpose. He flipped open the lid and smiled at her.
I'd get down on one knee, but I'm afraid I might have a hard time getting back up.
She chuckled and wiped a tear from her eye. I'm pretty good at pretending.
Me too. Merribeth, I made the biggest mistake of my life leaving you 8 years ago, but I never stopped loving you. I know we haven't been back together long, but I've seen my life without you in it, and I don't want to live like that. Please tell me that you will make me the happiest man alive and be my wife.
Though he was almost certain she would say yes, he found himself holding his breath until the word escaped her lips. Yes, Chance. Yes, I'll marry you. He barely had time to place the ring on her finger before she was in his arms and pressing her lips against his. Did I hear someone say Mary? His mother asked, poking her head into the room. Reluctantly, Chance broke the kiss, but kept Merribeth close to his side.
Yes, you did, Mother.
Mary? Lucas's grinning face appeared behind Chance's mother. Does that mean you'll be my dad?
If that's okay with you, Chance said.
Okay with me? This is the best Christmas ever, Lucas shouted. Chance smiled before turning back to Merribeth. The commotion around them seemed to disappear as he stared into her eyes.
I couldn't agree more, he said softly, before claiming her lips once more.